Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Let me see who's on. Let me see who's on. Um, I'm starting earlier, just a few minutes earlier. All right, I'm able to see that I am live. I don't know how many people are watching right now. Let me check. Okay, cool. All right, so I got one person watching. I do have some chats here. Let me go ahead and begin by saying, first and foremost, thank you so much for being here. Those of you that are about to start watching, whoever you are watching, thank you so much for being here. Frank Dika's dropping knowledge. Talking papas, we're talking papas. Always. On a threatening Thursday, we're going to talk about things, talk about rational and irrational fears. I'm going to play a small video. I haven't even watched it. I just found it. I kind of saw a little, like, of the beginning of it. It's a definition, so it shouldn't be anything crazy or anything like that. If I ever share videos with you guys, I try to make sure that it's educational. Is that a potato with a chainsaw? Katie Frizzle, I don't know if you're still here. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. A lot of people are afraid of the papas because we're talking papas every day, talking papas every day. Some people are afraid of the papas. They think the papa's going to come with a chainsaw. But that's not blood on the chainsaw, Miss Frizzle. That's ketchup. I don't know if you're still here, but nice to see you, baby girl Wendy. That's right. Good to see you again. Let's see. Looney Tunes, PWA, Papas with an attitude, bro. Hey, we're talking papas. We're talking papas every day, man, daily. So far, I've been able to pull it off. I've been able to get on daily. I've been able to do so. So, shout out to you guys that watch. Shout out to you guys that hit the like button. Those of you that subscribe, that watch my other videos. So today I dropped a video as well. I'll probably work on a short later on. I do have some clips from yesterday that I want to use. The video that I made today, I didn't need to use too much of it. So I might have something a little, something I might be able to clip and put out a short. That'll be later on. Maybe after this live, I'll start working on it. But yeah, thank you so much for everyone that watches my lives. I really truly appreciate it. And don't stop. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, talking papas live. Threatening Thursday, we're going to talk about rational and irrational fears. I'm going to play a little video, but I just want to catch up with the chats. What's up, Mr. Oxnard? Nice to see you. That's right, Katie Frizzle, baby girl Wendy. That's right, Mr. Oxnard. So I already put the link up here. Let me see. Let me go ahead and pin it. All right, we already have the weirdos coming in. That's right. Saludos desde Papatown, Idaho. Hey, that's right, brother. Shout out to you, man. They be talking about papas all the time down there. Man, that's a booming business. They use potatoes in almost every type of food, man. Hey, what's up, Blue? What's up, man? Nice to see you. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, bro. Rudy Pacencia, Q, Frank Tica, Sakin Papas. Oh, that's right. Canal spreading that hot content, turning potatoes into chips. Eso. Hey, man, that's what we got to do. You got to break it down sometimes, just make it easier for people to digest. Even the haters. Even the haters. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, so I'm going to play a little video. It's like most videos, like I said, that I play. I try to play videos that give more of a definition of the words or of the terms that we're going to be talking about than anything that espouses an opinion, an idea. I don't care where it's coming from. When I play something for you guys, I want it to be more factual than anything else, right? So we're going to go ahead and watch this video. We're going to watch it. It's not too long. Okay, now this is about how are irrational fears different from rational fears. It's only 2 minutes, 51 seconds. I'm going to play it all the way through. Here we go.
How are irrational fears different from rational fears? In recent days, discussions about fears have gained traction, especially as many people seek to understand their own emotions. The question on many minds is, how are irrational fears different from rational fears? With mental health awareness at the forefront, this topic is particularly relevant now. Understanding these differences can help individuals manage their feelings better and improve their daily lives. Rational fears are grounded in reality. They arise from real threats or dangers. For instance, standing near a cliff without safety gear can trigger a fear of heights. This fear serves a protective purpose, helping to prevent harm. On the flip side, irrational fears do not stem from actual dangers. They can disrupt daily activities and lead to unnecessary anxiety. Take the fear of spiders, for example. While many people may feel uneasy around spiders, the risk of being harmed by one is very low.
Hey, shout out to you, Machete. Shout out to you. So I paused it a little bit. Wanted to say shout out to you, Machete. Nice to see you, man. Thanks so much for your support. Thanks to everybody that's watching. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. I continue to do lives daily as much as I can. I've been able to get away with it, pull it off, every day. I'm also dropping videos. I'm also dropping shorts. Sometimes I might not be able to do all three. So I will tend to go live daily. So I wanted to pause it here because, I want us to understand right now what a rational fear is. There's a lot of rational fears. There's a lot of rational fears. Depending on where you live, there could be a rational fear of being stung by a certain type of bug that maybe doesn't exist anywhere else, but is prevalent in your area, or any type of animal. You might suffer attacks. There are rational fears if you're living in a house that has no heater, right? And there's no warmth coming into the house, and it's snowing and there's a blizzard. There's a very rational fear that you can freeze, that you could, possibly die of hypothermia. I mean, these are rational fears. So, like, having a fear of something in itself is not bad. On the contrary, a lot of the fears that we may have, rational fears, are the ones that keep us safe, are the ones that keep us protected. Those are the ones that keep us from walking too close to the side of the sidewalk, close to the street. Those are the ones that alert us if we hear a loud noise to look around and, get our instincts going. Rational fears will do that. Those make sense. Let's see, Frank Ticas, Talkin Papas, Talkin Papitas. Good afternoon, Ticas in chat, listening from work. That's right, the Hangman Stranger. Hey, man, we already got them trolls out here. Unfortunately, they're not very smart, man. They're not intelligent. They don't challenge. They don't offer anything of substance to the conversation. So therefore, we ignore them. What's up? Hey, FirmaTube, nice to see you. Nice to see you, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. Mr. Oxnard, yeah, man. There's rational fears. I mean, there are rational fears. Real fear keeps you sharp. Fake fear keeps you stuck. Yeah, exactly, Machete. I couldn't have said it better myself. And we're going to get into some of the context. We're going to get into some examples of that, but that's exactly right. Real fear will keep you sharp, will keep you safe. Fake fear will keep you stuck, not moving, not progressing, or not doing things that you should be doing, right? Not doing things that you should be doing out of an irrational fear. Now, like a rational fear of mine lately has been not knowing what's going on with Lucky. I don't even really watch his channel. I don't really watch Lucky's channel, man. I don't watch it. Hey, what's up, John B. Timer? What's up, man? Thanks for stopping by. I mean, I have to be extremely honest and tell you guys that I don't really watch Lucky. I don't watch his channel. I've seen some of his videos. There are some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. I've seen some of the more controversial content that they've put on him because of some of the words that he's used. But I chalk all of that up to to him being of a certain age, of a certain era, of him viewing things a certain way. We're all different, man. I give him my respect just for being an older dude and for having survived and for being out here and to actually trying his hand at YouTube and putting out content. Hey, that's admirable. I see myself putting out content as long as I can. And if it's something comfortable for me to do, if I hit my retirement and I'm still able to put out content that's interesting and people will watch, why not? Why not? And I feel that he had gotten into a pocket where people were really watching his stuff, but now I haven't seen him. And as I was telling you guys the other day, it's been over a month since he put a video out, and he's been radio silent for about as long. Hey, what's up, Bill, man? Nice to see you, man. Talking papas, we're talking papas, talking papas. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, talking papas live on a threatening Thursday. So I do have a substantial rational fear, of him, maybe going through some kind of medical episode, and God willing that that's not what it is. Hopefully it just has something to do with him deciding to take a break, going on vacation, whatever. But I do trip out because he's a human being, man. He's a human being. I've seen him make videos. He's an older dude. I appreciate the fact that he does it. Whether I agree, whether I'm always watching what he does or not, whether that's irrelevant. It's the fact that I haven't seen him, and as a man, as someone that I see myself getting to a certain age, is something that I think about. People on social media need to quit chasing validation. Respect is earned, not pulled. Yeah, that's right, bro. And I think that Lucky has that type of respect. I know people want to disrespect him. I know they do because of maybe some of his takes, but I respect the man. I respect the man for what he does. I respect the fact that, at his age, he's been putting it down, gaining traction, has a following on YouTube. That's not easy, bro, especially with the type of content that he indulges in. There's a lot of competition, and he was able to make his niche, and I can respect that. So just me not necessarily being a subscriber or one of his viewers, I'm sure his people are probably thinking the same, like, hey, hopefully everything's good with him. But that's a rational fear. It's a rational fear to have, like, I'm wishing for the best, but hopefully it hasn't been something bad that is keeping him from going online. Hopefully it's if it's his decision to just not do anything, that's a whole different thing. That's right, Hugo Torres. Saludos, Frank. Happy Thursday afternoon. Happy Thursday to you too, man. We're over here talking papas on the threatening Thursday, and those are things that can be threatening to people. Not knowing if your health will give in, especially if you've already been experiencing, issues with your health. Like, you get sick often, your immune system is kind of shot out. Maybe you've had surgeries. Maybe you have things that have been detected or diagnosed. So therefore, it is a reality already in your life. It can get to a point, depending on what it is, that your health can feel like it's something threatening to you. But that would be based on a rational fear. And I think, we need to understand the difference between a rational and irrational fear, because Machete said that sometimes irrational fear will keep you stuck. Yes, but there will be people that use your irrational fear to get you stuck, to keep you from moving. They think, if they think that is something that you fear, even though it's irrational, some people will use that as a tool, as a weapon. Hey, remember Weaponized Wednesday? Sometimes people will weaponize the things that they think you fear and try to use that against you. But to me, it's like you have to be very careful about cultivating irrational fears just for that reason alone, because an irrational fear can be used to manipulate you. Now, you can be manipulated through irrational fear. Like there are people throughout what centuries that have been manipulated through irrational fears of just religious stuff. Like how many times has the end of the world been prophetized and used towards people's advantage? Then when it doesn't happen, it's like, oh, okay, because we made it go away. Our intercession made that go away. And I'm not just talking in like structured religions like the ones we know, but I mean also like in a lot of Mesoamerican and different types of religions that existed before the conquests, where a lot of things were used, the irrational fear of people to dictate how they lived, how they dressed, how they spoke. Irrational fear can really mold you, and it can create a husk of who you really are. Let's see. I really like Lucky. I think he just quit. He was getting jaded by a plateau he hit. His last few weeks were videos where he was considered. Yeah, I saw that too, man. I saw that too. I hope that's what it is, bro. I hope that's what it is, because I feel that he was getting there. He was talking about he was going to indulge more like in the cheese or whatever, but I think he probably thought against it, because I did see those videos too. Um, because when I went back, now I did see those like last couple of videos. I hope it's that, bro. I really do hope it's that. Get on up, Frankie Chat. Hey, what's up? 2 times. Nice to see you, man. Chilling, bro. Chilling. Talking papas, man. There are things that could be considered rational fears that might lean towards the irrational if they're not educated, if you don't have enough information. I think knowing will keep it from being an irrational fear. And we have to stay away from that. Hey, what's up, OG Smalls, Frank T, and Familia? Nice to see you, brother. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Blessings to everybody. Don Machete, that's right. Julio Solorio, thanks for stopping by, man. Thanks for being here, showing support. It's Threatening Thursday, bro. It's Threatening Thursday. There's a lot of things that we can consider threatening. Sometimes people may be threatened just by your presence alone, just by you being the new person on the job, or you being the new person in school or in a group or whatever. And if you demonstrate that you've got certain talents and certain ways of doing things, sometimes people may consider you a threat and will feel threatened by your presence, and your presence becomes a threatening aspect in their lives. I think that people, if someone is threatening to you, or if you're threatened by someone new or invading your space, whatever, that's a you problem. And I'm going to explain why. And it'll come down to irrational fears. Cal Legends has been contemplating. I agree, OG. I hope it's that, man. Locky saw what happened to Hunch's most of fitness. He was probably scared. Okay, well, maybe, bro, maybe. I hope it's not. I hope it's not that. I hope he's doing good, man. Blessings to him. Thank you, son. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Looney Tunes? Nice to see you, man. What's up, Frank and everyone? Mags, nice to see you. Nice of you to be here. Thank you so much. Frank Ticas and chat. Saludos. Hey, saludos to everybody, man. Legends Lucky, AK. I'm not gonna read that, man. Nah, man, I do respect the dude. I do respect the dude. I do respect the guy. Look at these trolls. You guys are dumb, man. You guys are stupid. You know, so someone just mentioned here, I think 2 times it was you, Like he saw what happened to to a certain individual. Probably scared he was next. Now I don't know how true that is because I don't know too much about Lucky. I like I said, I respect him as an older gentleman that's on the platform doing his thing. I respect his hustle, and I respect the fact that he's doing it at the age that he's doing it at. As far as like all of the backstories and beefs and whatever, I can only guess because I've seen things. Um, But you would have to know and you would have to truly have things that people can use against you for you to fear that. Like it could not be an irrational fear that will get you off of YouTube. Like irrational fears, and what do I mean by irrational fear? So for example, look at all these weirdos that come on my chat, like that they just make like the wildest assumptions and accusations. They craft these narratives based on just bullshit. They don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. And then they try to weaponize it. Remember Weaponize Wednesday as a threatening gesture towards me. That's why it's Threatening Thursday. You see how it all just, it kind of, like dominoes, bro, like dominoes. Hey, one after the other. Talking Papas, we're talking Papas. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge live, talking Papas live on the Threatening Thursday. Like those threatening things don't do anything to me because I don't have any fear of anything. Like I don't have any fear of, ooh, we're gonna or the veil will be lifted. I have no like. What are you guys talking about? Like I came out of here without a veil. I came out here without a veil. I came out here just saying exactly who I was and telling you exactly where I used to live. I told you what I was into. Like what fear of what? And if anything, you guys are proving that I've always told the truth. You guys are just proving that I'm honest. Stupid. Now, if I knew that there were things in the past that could be used against me that I haven't disclosed that are shameful, that, whatever, then I would understand being fearful of it. And if there are people that have these type of things in their background and they're out here putting themselves out here and going against people, yeah, they should fear that type of shit. If he did quit, it would have been cool to have updated. Yeah, probably, Hangman. That's where I see it. That's where I see it. I think that you still have the responsibility of being able to tell your subscribers because look, you can continue making money off your content, bro. Like once you leave it up out there, and if people want to continue staying subscribed to you, even if you're not putting content out there, that's fine. You may have a change of heart, and maybe in a couple of months decide to put something out there, and that's cool too. I mean, I don't knock it, but I do think that you owe it to your subscribers to let them know, hey, man, and you see that happening with like Skittles. Like all of a sudden, yesterday he was all apologetic. Oh, I'm like the most inconsistent streamer. Oh, and laughing about it. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's funny because people truly get bothered by that shit. They get turned off by him doing what he does to them. Like I don't particularly care, but that's the type of thing that I point out because it just goes to show that it doesn't matter how much you talk about change, you're still doing things that could be considered scamming. Now, I'm not saying that's the case with like Lucky, for example, because I don't think that's the case. I only think that it is always in your best interest to let your people know, like, hey, man, you know what? I righteously quit. I'm not gonna put shit out there. I just want you guys to know. Thank you so much for your support. If eventually I decide to come back, I'll let you guys know. Blah blah blah. Hey man, all it takes is a few sentences. So I agree with that, Hangman, 100%. That's right, Mags. Hey, what's up, Johnny G? What's up, man? Chilling, bro. Chilling over here, talking papas. I'm watching the Japan Sweden game. There's another one going on right now. Let me see. Let me see how that one's going. This button isn't working, I guess. Let's see. So Japan, Sweden, I guess it's Sweden, is 0-0. And then what is this? Tunis and the Netherlands is 2-0. So yeah, they're already winning. I'll just watch Japan, Switzerland. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I can see how those things would make you fearful if you have things that people can use against you. I can see that. Lucky was gossiping. He was cool with does. Oh, okay. I don't know about all that. I guess a lot of people do that though. I wasn't like high power friend cool with them. I think even these trolls are cool with them. I've seen, wouldn't surprise me. But that's kind of weird. See, that's why I guess that may even be a reason why they don't like us because they're cool with them. I guess. That's right, 1717. All right, good to see you, 17. Maggie. That's right, Mags. Ill, Mags, and Hangman. All right, cool, man. Let me just catch up with these chats, see if anyone asks or says anything. Mr. Oxnard. Hey, what's up, Miss Yaya? Mr. Oxnard. Let's see, is Mr. Oxnard in here? I saw Miss Yaya. Nice to see you, Miss Yaya. Good to see you. Shout out to you for being here. And if you're a troll in here, hit the like, bitch. Might as well. Might as well subscribe. I'm pretty sure some of you are subscribed to me. USA plays today. Okay, I'm gonna watch that one. I'm watching most of the games. I'm not watching. I didn't watch the one earlier or before this. I think there were two before this. I'm not sure. I didn't watch those. That's right, Katie, Yaya, Miss Yaya. I've been in the background listening in. All right, thank you so much, Miss Yaya. Nice to see you. Ill mannered. Okay, we're gonna continue playing the rest of this.
Yet, someone with an irrational fear might avoid going outdoors altogether. This avoidance behavior can impact their quality of life. Common irrational fears include specific phobias like acrophobia, which is the fear of heights, and ophidiophobia, the fear of snakes. These fears can lead to anxiety and behaviors that are not needed for safety. Recognizing the difference between rational and irrational fears is essential for managing anxiety effectively. Practical tips to manage irrational fears include gradual exposure to the feared object or situation. Cognitive behavioral
When they say gradual exposure to the feared object or situation, that's what I call confrontation. You got to confront your fears. No, you gotta be straight up about yourself. That's why, like, all of you fucking trolls, you guys think you're doing something, you're not doing shit. Like I came to terms and peace with myself years ago, before I even thought of YouTube. Now you guys think you're gonna deconstruct who I am in this time period when there are thousands of people that know my story and have been a part of it and know who I am? Come on now, you guys are dumb. That's why I don't have a fear of that. But so it would be irrational of me to fear that type of threat. You know what I mean? Because I know, like, I can look back and, like, there's nothing that you can disclose of me that I haven't already disclosed. There isn't. So, but once again, if you know that there are things that can come back and bite you in the ass before you put yourself out there publicly, before you put your face out there, you might want to go make amends. Right? You might want to fix that because that might come and bite you in the ass. And we're seeing that every day. We saw that yesterday. You know, the irrational fear of someone being interviewed. It turned out just to be a recording, but I think that if you know and you can read between the lines, that's all you needed. And as a matter of fact, I respect that a lot more because that's the way it should be handled. Shout out to Rob of Misled Loyalty. Always in our prayers. And I'm sure Rob has some rational fears about his health. And that's why we pray, and that's why he prays as well, and he's trying to take care of himself. That's a rational fear. Irrational fears are those things that you don't even know if they're going to happen or not, but you're already scared. But a lot of that is rooted either in misinformation or in guilt. Like, see, the way you guys attack us sometimes, like the things that you try to use or you try to weaponize, those are the things that I know you're afraid of. You're afraid that those are the things that are found out about you, you little bitches. Straight up. You're afraid. What, like the things that you guys try to pin on me, you're afraid that those things are going to be disclosed in your life. That's how I see it. That's right, Miss Yaya. That's right. New place I see my nickname. Yeah, man. You know these guys, man. You could say in a street style like this, some fools push irrational fear just to get folks all. They push fake fear to get people heated. So yeah, man. But you know what it is, my chat. That we have to understand when it's real and when it's not real, right? So, like, I'm giving you guys an example. Like me personally, I'm like, I got so many people on my social media. I don't know who could, be sharing or take. And if I put it out there, why would I be ashamed of shit I put out there? You know. And even if it's anything like personal, like these guys are truly trying to like look for scraps. I'm probably people looking through my trash and shit. you know. I don't have that irrational fear. Like I don't fear that. I sleep well at night. I have a good time. I chill with my kids. But I think about people like fucking Ratas, bro, like fucking Johnny. Do you think he's not going out based off irrational or rational fear? You know? I would say his fears are rational. I would say his fears are rational. The fact that he tried to jump in front of whatever was coming let me know that he has a rational fear of being like completely exposed. I mean, I don't know how much people really need to not see it. Like, I don't know how much people really need. You really don't need much. You don't need anybody coming out to say anything. It's obvious. We can read between the lines. What's the topic today? I missed the intro. We're talking about threatening things that are threatening, rational and irrational fears, and what some people may use and weaponize in order to trigger some kind of response from you using those fears. So for example, anything that may be deemed threatening to you may be used and weaponized against you because they may think that you have an irrational fear to that. For example, when they talk about exposing me and oh, the veil shall be lifted, I don't have a fear of none of that when I'm the one that's exposed all of who I am from the get go. So I have no irrational fear of that. Now, there are rational fears, and that's what we're talking about. Like, if I knew that there were skeletons that were to be pulled out, that there were things that I have not come to terms to, and I have not said anything, and are probably hot topics, but I'm out here talking shit to people. There could be a rational fear at that moment that something might be disclosed. And I think that a lot of people came out on YouTube, came out to their platform, started doing all of this, and thought that they could escape their past. They thought that the past was going to stay behind. And now they're coming to find out that it's not that way. So maybe if you see one YouTuber quit because the past coming back and biting them in the ass, you may have a series of people that might do the same. So we're also theorizing that could be a possibility. That there might be people that are quitting their channels out of fear of retribution, that shit might come out and expose them. That's what we're talking about in basically. Salute to the whole ET family. We right here getting ready for work. Yeah, man, that's right, Mr. Oxnard. Shout out to you. Blessings to you, man, and your family. Talking papas, talking papas. It's been a long week. I'm kind of tired. Irrational fear. Yeah, irrational fear. Let's see. A guilty conscience is its own boogeyman. Exactly, brother. Thank you so much, the irreverent one, for stopping by. Shout out to you, man. Blessings to you. A guilty conscience is crazy, bro. Now, I know what it is to live with a guilty conscience. When I was younger, when I was doing shit, and I didn't want my mom to find out, I was always trying to hide shit from my teachers, you know, when I was doing the most. I remember one time when my mom found a big ass wad of money in my pant pockets because she was doing laundry. She went and grabbed my clothes and she went, she felt a fat wad of money in my pants. And she kept, like, she held on to it. She didn't tell me anything about it till I got home. And then when I got home, she was waiting for me and she had that wad of money on the table and she's like, "What the fuck is this?" I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much the energy. What is this? Like, what is this? Why do you have this much money? Where are you getting all this money? Because I don't give you that much money. And as a matter of fact, my parents weren't giving me money at all. You know, because I was out there acting a fool. I wasn't really coming home. I was ditching school. They knew about it. They knew that I was, start indulging in drugs a little bit, staying out late. I wouldn't come home sometimes 2 days, 3 days in a row. So they weren't going to give me money because to them it's like, we're going to enable this kid to continue to be out there. So I found ways of making money out there, and that's how my life of crime started. Just from being out there, needing money just to be out, like needing money just to be out there. I didn't need to be out there. I didn't need to. I had a home, I had parents, but we didn't get along. We had a bad relationship, and that kind of messed things up. I didn't have peace. I was a very, I've always been someone very in tune with my emotions, but back then I didn't know how to control that shit. Like, I didn't know. Frank, you would be a great church youth group leader. I used to be, bro. I used to be. What's up, Machete? Nice to see you. That's right, baby girl. Baby girl Wednesdays. Shout out to everybody. That's right. Fear no evil. That's exactly right, Machete. Fear no evil, man. I fear no evil, and I've made it very clear. I've made it very clear why I don't fear evil. Like, I righteously have faith in God, and I believe in God, and I pray to God, and I know that everything I do is before His eyes. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Ain't no fear in my heart. Frank Joker can't even go outside. Is in a totally different county. Exactly, bro. Exactly. See, that's what I'm talking about. Now, you could think, and I would probably think that his TikTok friends, Mr. Oxnard, if he were to see that, if he were to say, "Hey, you know what? I can't even leave my house," they would probably think that it's an irrational fear because they've never lived that situation. They've never been in his shoes. They don't know what he's done to the full extent. Like, they don't really understand. And then on top of that, to add insult to injury, just how he's disrespected people online throughout the past, what, 3 years? So, it's like, I get these trolls coming at me, but personally, I have never disrespected anyone or threatened their life or done anything to the extent that these dudes have, and I think that all of that will come back to them. And they're afraid of that. So there is a rational fear there. I totally agree. That's right, baby girl Wayne. Let's see. Like, when they talked about my mom. Yeah, exactly, bro. Like, that's the type of shit that pissed me off. How are you going to weaponize, the situation someone's going through, especially something like that, bro, and try to use it against you to get their laughs? We're going to use that against them. We're going to write a script about it, and we're going to share it with the other two trolls that each of them run 3 or 4 accounts. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. Hey, Mimi Ramirez, nice to see you. Mimi, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Shout out to you. Shout out to Blue. I saw Blue in here too. Thank you guys so much for all that you do, for your support. We're going to continue doing what we do. Talking papas. We're talking papas on a threatening Thursday. We're talking about rational and irrational fears, but I think that you guys that have been listening in get the gist. You get what we're talking about. You know, the fears stop being irrational when there are facts, when there's information to back up the possibility of something that you fear happening. You know, like if the statistics are in your favor, whether you are in remote danger of it happening or not, just because the statistics may be in your favor, that irrational fear may become rational. For example, when people are afraid of flying, like going into planes, you know, the reality is that lately there may be a rise in plane accidents. There has been a rise in plane accidents. Now, if you were to just look at that statistic, you would have a rational fear of jumping on a plane. You're like, wait a minute, you know, these crashes, these accidents are going up. And I have to travel. Fuck, I got to find an alternate way of traveling. But then if you compare it to like car accidents, for example, of any given city, any city, your city, and the number is still higher, then wouldn't that keep you from jumping in the car too? Like, wouldn't that keep you from driving? Wouldn't that keep you from getting an Uber or a taxi or riding the bus? Just saying. I mean, so when we're talking about rational and irrational fears, sometimes people have an irrational fear of flying when they don't compare the statistics. And it's probably and it's always going to be more dangerous to ride in a car than to ride in a plane. I know it doesn't make sense, but that's how facts and statistics work. Like, if there's a greater possibility of you suffering a car accident, and God willing, you know, you are safe from that. I don't wish that upon anybody. If you're at a higher risk of getting into a car accident than to getting into some sort of wreck in a plane, then your fear of flying is irrational. If you continue to jump into cars, taxis, and all of that, fight me. What's up, Popeye? What's good, Frank? Every time in the chat, that's right, Popeye. Nice to see you, man. Thanks so much for stopping by. That's right, Mr. Oxnard. That's right. Yeah, baby girl Wendy, ill manners in the house. Got Mimi in here. Thanks so much for your support, ladies. I saw Mags here all the time. We've got the Hangman Stranger. Oh, Oakland, everything. Shout out to you, Oakland. Thank you so much for stopping by. We had Miss Yaya here as well. All of the ladies of Exposed to came on today. Thank you so much for showing your support. That's right, Popeye, Hangman Stranger, baby girl Wendy, ill mannered Mag. That's right. So you guys know the link is there. You guys can jump on. Whoever wants to jump on and you know, talk a little bit about what we're discussing, you can go ahead and do so. You have to let me know that you're going to jump on, and I have to recognize the user because, as you guys already know, these trolls want to get up. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. No weapons formed against us shall prosper. Yeah, bro. Look. You know, there were times were treacherous out here. I don't like to talk a lot about it. You know, there are some certain things that I will always keep to myself. Maybe the conditions will be better at some point in the future to discuss things more openly. In the meantime, I can only say this. Times were treacherous down here for many years. You know, and it was a rational fear to think that anytime you stepped out of your house, you could get killed. It didn't matter what, who, when, where, why, how. Didn't matter. It could come in any way, shape, or form. It could be due to criminality. It could be due to a car accident. Because there's car accidents all the time. People dying all the time because of car accidents. You know? Now, obviously, that statistic has dropped completely. But when people talk about fear, it's like there's nothing more fearful than to have the type of conversation with your kids to where you're like, listen, man, if they try to pull you out the bus, if they try to pull you out the taxi, and if they tell you come with me, you're gonna say no. And we'd rather get killed on the spot and shot and left for dead there than to be taken anywhere else. That's how we live. That was like an everyday conversation. It was not an irrational fear. It was very rational based on how things were, you know? So when people think that they can pump fear into my heart, I kind of laugh because I'm like, man, you guys really don't know. Like, you guys don't know. Like when people think that they can like pump fear into me by saying, "Oh, we're going to discover." Where are you going to discover, bitch, that I haven't already disclosed? Come on, you guys are dumb. That's right, Miss Yaya says, Machete. That's right, Max. What's up? Hey, what's up, Exposed Tube? Saludos, Frank and chat. Saludos to you, bro. Saludos to ET, ladies of Exposed Tube. Hangman Stranger, Taco Stain, Sooners, Terps. Everybody putting out work, man. Everybody putting out their videos. Miss Frizzle, Katie Frizzle. Man, we're going to keep doing what we do. So that's why, like, when a while back they were talking about the resilience, our resilience. It's not resilience. What it is that, come on, like everybody know that there's a fine line to how much you can really antagonize someone online before it gets weird, before it gets out of hand, before whatever. You know what I mean? So if anybody ever goes beyond what they're supposed to, they should know, they should fear rationally that there will be consequences. I mean, that's a rational fear to have. If you're antagonizing people constantly, no, you should have a rational fear that you will be antagonized back. And I understood that. I understood it, you know? But now, if anyone were to take it overboard and really try to really like fuck me over, whatever, then that's a whole different story. Because then at that point, my fear would not be an irrational fear that what's being done is going to like put me in a bad light. No, I have no fear of that. I have no fear of my reputation being tarnished or of me being put in a bad light. That will not happen. But what my rational fear is that if anyone ever attempted to do something beyond that, that I would have to take and I would have to react the way I would have to react. You know? So because I'm not worried about it, I don't contemplate it. And that's why you cannot let the extremes rule over you. You have to be aware of the extremes. You have to know like how far people will go to do certain shit. But before it's even happening, before it does, you just got to keep an eye on it. You just have to observe. That's all. That's why I tell you guys, observe. Take your time, pump your brakes, find out. Sometimes people are fearful of shit that they should not be afraid of. That if they really knew what was behind the curtain, like the Wizard of Oz, you would be like, what? Come on now. And sometimes the people behind the curtain are the ones that have to fear the most. Now, when it comes to, ET and how we get down, man, we've had the conversations up front with, straight up, with nothing to hide. So, I know who ET is. No, and we respect each other, and we keep doing what we do. We keep getting down because we're real. That's right. Saludos, man. Let me see. My spawn is back home. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, ET1. Saludos, ET. Thanks for stopping by. Saludos, Mag. Respects to all. That's right. That's right. Look at these. Payback for what? What did I? So then I did do something to you. I did something to you because payback comes when you do something to someone. I did something to you. I did something to someone that you know or what? Let it be known. Don't just put out empty threats, bitch. Payback, payback for what? For clowning you fools? For making you look weak, making you look like idiots when you jumped on? Look, the times I've had trolls on, they felt stupid. So now they have to go the extra route. But once again, there is no irrational fear in my heart. That's right. Just taking care of the fam. That's right, Mag. Continue doing so. Got to take care of the fam, man. You guys got to take care of the family. That's more than anything. We're over here talking papas, but at the same time, got to take care of the family. Got to get the bills paid. You got to work. Do what you got to do. Do the right thing, like Spike Lee. That's right. This is why I got so disgusted when Skittles weaponized mental health to discredit what his cousin was saying. Exactly, bro. You're absolutely right, and I'm glad that you brought that up. Look, we got this. We got all of these dudes, pennies in a bunch, and they can't see what you just fucking mentioned right here. That's the problem. That's why we go at these fools. That's why. Because they use mental health, they use racism, they scam, they do all kinds of things. To justify, to excuse themselves, to protect themselves, to hurt others, to ridicule others, to badmouth and put fake jackets on others. That's how these trolls operate too. That's why I have no respect. I have no respect for you. No fear, no respect, no nothing. You guys are fucking useless pieces of shit. Straight up. And until you guys realize that it's all for naught, and that's what I talk to my kids and I'm like, look, if it ever gets out of hand, let me know. You know what I mean? I don't want to be a fucking old, ridiculous man talking shit. And that's why when I talk about things, I talk about things as an adult. We're talking adult things here. But I'm sure that if there's a kid, if there's someone underage listening in, they're going to get some kind of information. They'll get a little bit of knowledge. That's why we're dropping knowledge. That's right, Mimi. My dad lost 6 family members in a car crash. He had a lot of fear around that. Yeah, bro, exactly. So that's a rational fear, though. That's more of a fear. That's a more rational fear than the fear of flying. But I understand if someone had family members or knows of someone that had a tragic death in the plane, for example. I could understand you having a fear of flight, and then it would not be irrational. It just has to come from experience or from information that you have readily available. If there's no information, nothing that demonstrates that what you're fearing is possible or can reach you, that is an irrational fear. And these guys are betting that we have that type of fear. That's what they're putting their money on. That our fears are irrational, that their little hocus pocus bullshit is gonna work. Just stepping in, I'll be listening, cooking. All right, Katie Frizzle, thanks for stopping by. Puras papas, that's right, 2 times we're talking papas, talking papas. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, talking papas live. You know. On a threatening Thursday. Some things are threatening. Sometimes you can be threatening to people. Sometimes people may be threatening to you. Mags, thank you so much, Mags. Shout out to you. God bless you. God bless you. I really appreciate it. Anytime you guys donate, you guys don't know how blessed it makes me feel. And I appreciate the fact that you guys are here, that you're watching, that you're supporting. Thank you, Megs, in particular, for always being there, being in the front line, protecting the chat. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for being here, and God bless you. May the Lord multiply it a thousandfold, not just economically, but in good health, in protection, in prosperity, in love, and just feeling secure wherever you are. No, I pray that for you and everybody that's here, everybody that supports me, everybody that supports the Exposed to movement, the ladies of Exposed to, that righteously wants to seek an end to the depravity and all of this stuff that goes on online. I salute every single one of you. You're always in my prayers. Frank Ticas dropping knowledge. Frank Ticas dropping knowledge. Stocking Papas live. Threatening Thursday, man. Like, why would anyone ever feel threatened by someone? Now, obviously there are ways, if someone comes in strapped into a store, you're in the store and you see someone come in, that's a threatening individual. But I'm talking about when you feel threatened by someone's intelligence, by someone's influence. Machete, that's right. Mimi, irrational fear can keep you from living your full potential. That's right, Mimi. That was just said in the video that I played. I know you came after that, and that is exactly right. That is exactly right, Mimi. Fear will keep you stuck. Machete said it well as well. He said, rational fear will keep you safe. Irrational fear, no, rational fear will keep you sharp and safe. Irrational fear will keep you stuck. And that is obviously very true. I agree to that 100%. That's right, ill mannered. Ill manners, se te quiere. That's right, se te quiere, Megs. That's right, Popeye. Hey, what's up, Moni? Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by. I got Mags in the house. I got Mimi in the house. Miss Yaya listening in Oakland as well. Katie Frizzle, everyone that stopped by. Thank you so much for showing love. Shankopotamus, nice to see you. Nice to see you. That's right. Rational fear is something that prompts you in the moment of time for survival. Correct. Correct. That is absolutely right. It and I said that at the beginning, Mimi. It activates your instincts, because there are instincts tied into that too. And depending on what it is, you will react. That is absolutely right. Shank, good to see you, brother. All right, let me finish playing the video. It's almost done.
Therapy is another effective method. This therapy helps individuals challenge their thoughts and beliefs about their fears. Relaxation techniques, such as breathing exercises or meditation, can also be beneficial. These methods enable individuals to become more comfortable with their fears over time. In light of recent events, such as the onion crisis in Bangladesh, we see how irrational behavior can stem from fear. People may stockpile items out of fear of missing out or due to social pressure. This behavior can worsen shortages. Similarly, in trading psychology, emotions like fear can lead to poor decision-making. Understanding the dynamics of fear can guide individuals toward making more rational choices in various aspects of life. By distinguishing between rational and irrational fears, individuals can take steps to manage their anxiety and improve their overall well-being.
All right, cool. So that was the video I wanted to share with you guys. And we're already talking about it. I've been filling in, having the discussion with you. I appreciate everyone's comments, on the subject. And that's the whole point. The whole point is to have this discussion with you guys, for us to be able to bounce ideas off of each other, and for us to really confront these things. Like, sometimes we don't confront our fears. Sometimes we want to sideline them, put them on the back burner. Sometimes you could do that, but others you just have to attack head on, especially the irrational ones. If you have some irrational fears that you're like, this might happen, and you're afraid of it, you don't know why, ask yourself why. Like, sit down, meditate, pray, pry your own brain. Sometimes we have to do introspection, and I think that that's one of the missing arts that our ancestors, at some point, that was erased from who we are and who we culturally. No, we have to have meditation practice. We have to have times for ourselves where we can do introspection. No, in the past there were rituals around that, how important it was. A lot of decision making was made only after you went through a process of meditation and revelation of facts and even of the prophetic. And these are lost arts. These are things that we are losing, but that's why we're having this conversation. No, these are things that I've applied to my life. I pray, I put everything into question. When I talk to you guys about playing the devil's advocate, I play the devil's advocate against my own thought process, my own decision making, to make sure that I am guaranteed every step of the way knowing what I'm getting into. you know and I'm sharing that with you guys because I think it's very important, especially when we maneuver online and just through life, meeting people, making decisions, talking to people, getting to know people. I believe that it's a requirement to walk into these things clear-headed, open-minded. I talked to my son. He's an adult now. He's going out, he's starting to go out. And I always tell them, look, if you're interested in someone, like if you meet somebody, you're interested in talking to this person, and maybe you met them like at a party or whatever, invite them to eat somewhere or to somewhere that does not include drinks, does not include lights, out in the day, out in the open, just doing normal stuff and see how they act. Put them in a natural habitat and see how they react, see how they act in the daylight. you know, you gotta know. You have to know. You even the things that you want in life, you have to question and make sure that they're good for you. Hi, friend ill. That's right. That's right. Shankopotamus and baby girl. That's right, Max. Nice to see you still in here. Shankopotamus. That's right. Saludos to everyone. Shanks, Wendy. That's right. Shankopotamus, Miss Yaya is still here. Good, good, man. I'm glad that you guys are still here. Hey, Miss Yaya, hey, thank you so much, Miss Yaya. God bless you for supporting the channel, for blessing me, with this donation. I truly, truly am honored to have you as someone that I can turn to, that we can have conversations with. You and your family, I truly hold you at high esteem. God bless you. May the Lord multiply this 1,000-fold. May he see the desires of your heart and grant them, because I know that everything that you seek, you do it for your children, you do it for your family, you do it for the betterment of the people around you. Then I will always salute and respect that, Miss Yaya. You and your husband have shown true friendship to me, and I will always hold that dear in my heart. Thank you so much. That's right, baby girl. That's right. That's right. Free taco. Hey, man, free El Gato Callejero. I haven't seen El Gato in a while. I hope everything's good with him. Keeping your reactions masked from your enemies preserves your power. Yes. 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 And no. It depends. It depends, Mimi, because, if you have to make a show of force or if you have to make a show of, like, strength, sometimes you got to just come out, and put it out there. Let me see. Science is the kind of science that is not weakness; it's warfare. That I agree. I totally agree with that, Mimi. And I think that a lot of times we practice that, and sometimes just ignoring shit is a sign of strength. Just like, you guys, come on, look right now, Mimi. I don't know if you recall, and those of you that were in the Discord or have been in the Discord for a while. A while back, I said I noticed a pattern of the trolls attacking me, like I'm a target, and that was months ago. That was like a couple of months, maybe about a month and a half ago. And sure enough, we see it happening, but I have nothing to fear. So, for me, it's like it serves almost as comedy, but it also serves as an example of the type of shit people are willing to go through when they see you as a threat. I was seen as a threat by just coming out here and putting a channel out here. Little old me. Like, how the fuck did that happen? How did that happen? You know, they clown me because I'm in a third world country deported. So why am I a threat to you? Why am I a threat to you? Payback, payback, payback for what, bitch? Show me where I hurt you. Can you show me where I hurt you, bro? Say you like, like where did I hurt you? Show me, bitch. So yeah, these guys have an irrational fear of my reach. These guys have an irrational fear of my influence, which is kind of crazy. Like, how are you gonna fear my influence and at the same time clown me and try to belittle me? Doesn't make sense. See, that's why I don't use you guys as a reference. You guys are fucking, you're just funny to me. You guys are just funny to me. I can never say silent Mimi. Yeah, we know, Moni. Ya sabemos, güey. To each their own. That's right. That's right, Mimi. Low facts. That's right, old mannered. Mirror me is mine. It's hard, but not impossible. That's right. And and that's the type of conversation that I want us to have. Like, it's not impossible. We can work on these things. It just so happens that I've been working on them for years. Before I even came to YouTube, before I put out my channel, you guys can go back and look at my first videos. I was already talking like this. No, there hasn't really been a change. I've learned more as far as like how to use the channel, like how to interact with people. I've learned more of how people are. Like, I didn't know that people were this desperate up on these streets. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like Frank said, meditation is key. That's right. Yeah, it is, because you have to remain headstrong. Look, I always go back to this, and this I want you guys to understand. Everybody, you haters out there, pay attention. Pay attention, bitches. Write this shit down. Talking papas, we're talking papas. Frank Ftdk's dropping knowledge, talking papas. Pay attention, haters. Pay attention, you fucking weenies. I have no fear, and you cannot ridicule me about what I looked like when I was a kid, what I did when I was in school, what I participated in, that I was in a fucking participant in school because I was a bright ass motherfucker, bitch. And I've always said it. Like, I never hid it. By you guys being threatened by that, by you guys ridiculing that, it just shows me that you know who I am. You know for real. You know I'm a fucking triple, quadruple, quintuple threat. Because I can do a lot of shit. I can do a lot of shit. Like, I've proven it to you. Like, probably people thought that I was bullshitting when I said that I know how to dance. Motherfucker, the proof is there. You guys are trying to clown me about it, but it's there, bitch. That just proves that I've been fucking honest all this time. The people in the Discord that saw the pictures that I placed, I was in the choir for many years. That's why I know how to sing. That's why I get down. I'm a talented motherfucker. What can I say? Those of you that have seen my drawings know that I can draw. Shit, I know how to draw. What the fuck? I know how to rhyme. Some of you guys that clown my verses that I put up on, all of that was just for fun. I don't give a fuck. But listen to the rhyme schemes and tell me I don't know how to write. Tell me I don't know how to rhyme. Tell me I don't know how to get down and express my opinions and be articulate about it. That's why you guys are out here trying to clown me. That's why you guys are trying to ridicule me. We're going to lift. The veil will be lifted. Bitch, all you're going to demonstrate is just how much you fear me. And it's an irrational fear. It's an irrational fear. You guys have an irrational fear of me. I don't care about you guys or your existence. I don't care. Like, all that talk about, yeah, Frank uses his influence to put people against each other. When have I ever done that shit? If anything, I get criticized for trying to, like, broker peace. Like, I really, really try to push for peace. In every situation that's happened, I've pushed for peace. And I get side-eyed for that. But I am who I am, and I'm going to continue to do that. I will continue to push for peace, because we've seen situations in which after talking things out, we can get shit straightened out. Not everything is going to turn out that way, but let's at least give it a try. I have no fear of confrontation. I do not have an irrational fear of confronting people. If I feel something's going on, I will let you know, bitch. And that's why, look, these trolls, they tried to weaponize that I got at them, or I try to get at them behind the scenes to have a conversation. Bitch, doesn't that just prove my point? Why would I try to talk to you behind the scenes and have a conversation instead of coming out here and do what you bitches did and fucking try to weaponize it and used it against me? That's all you're showing, all you're demonstrating is that you did not have the maturity to have that conversation with me. You feared me. You feared me having that conversation with you. You feared that in that conversation, I would disarm your whole logic. So maybe your fear is not that irrational, bitches. We're talking papas, talking papas, talking papas. Hey, Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, talking papas live. Threatening Thursday. Sometimes people will feel threatened by you because your aura just fucking permeates the whole fucking room. It happens. Sometimes you walk into a room and people notice, they feel your energy, and they're like, okay, that motherfucker. I don't know if I'm going to like him or I'm going to hate his ass, but I'll fucking hate him. I'll just start hating. Fuck it. It is what it is. What's up, Chicano Arl, Frankie? What's up, man? Chilling, bro. Talking. Good to see you for real. Good to see you too, man. Mijaya's my favorite. Yeah, Mijaya's cool, man. Peach, bro. Preach, brother. Thank you so much. Ticas, gracias, mi hermano. That was from the heart, bro. I know. Hey, and it comes from the heart too, Max. I have much appreciation for you. No, these guys try to run with the narrative that I creep and perv over women in the DMs. I want you guys to put it out there. All of the women know, all of the women that have ever interacted with me through a DM or when we've talked know that I have never, ever, ever insinuated anything but respect and admiration and talking about the issue at hand. I never steer the conversation or sexualize anything. And if you guys have watched my lives, I stay away from sexualizing things. Even in the comment section, there's things I won't read. When people are playing around, I'll let you guys, you guys can play around. There's things that I won't read because I don't get down that way. I don't like it. I think I think that it's, sometimes you can do it and maybe you can play around with your friends, whatever. This is just me. This is just my opinion. And in no way, shape, or form am I telling you not to do it. I'm just giving you my opinion as to why I don't do it. I don't do it because I challenge myself to try to use the best ideas, the best words, even though I cuss a little bit, of course. But, I want to be as clean as possible with what I'm trying to give you. Now, I may talk a little shit, but that's a little different because I just want to put a little more punch into the message. But as far as, I want it to be respectful. I want both men and women to participate in dialogue with me without feeling like it'll become like sexualized in any way, shape, or form. And that is the respect that we work with. Let's see. It's nice to have another perspective when you're only seeing it one way. It helps to think about things. Yeah, that's right, Mimi. And like I said, I don't claim to be the arbiter of truth. I don't claim to be the sole owner of the maximum truth or expression. Not at all. But I come to you guys with experience. I come to you guys from having read. I do share with you guys videos and definitions so that we can keep it aligned to the true definition. Other than that, opinions will vary, and that's okay. but as long as we're respectful and we can bounce ideas off each other, I think we all grow, and we're growing here. Free Gina, that's right. I told Frank once, I'm not saying anything, and Frank said, not saying anything is still saying something. I mean, not doing something when you're supposed to do something is doing something. You're demonstrating, you're showing where you stand. You hurt their feelings. Sometimes I think I do. I might. I think it may happen. I remember that lesson. Let's see. Let's see. Look at these guys, man. Hey, you know what's funny? If you guys read that troll's comment, he's talking about a friend of mine, the white boy that's in the picture with you. That's my homie. I'm still in touch with that guy. He's a true patriot. He is a high ranking individual. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna get him on. I'm gonna show him what you put. I'm gonna show him what you put. He's gonna laugh. Most of the people that I went to school with in junior high, like that are in those pictures, we still talk. Hey, see, you guys are fucking stupid, man. I'm telling you. You guys are fucking dumb. You guys are dumb. Man. I'm so proud of all of the people that I've been fortunate enough to meet, like those of you that are in the chat, Mimi, Blue, Ill Mannered, Mags, Jay Slaughter, everybody that supports me, Mr. Oxnard. Man, and too many to mention, E.T., the whole movement. I feel fortunate to meet people like you because amongst you, there are everything. We have artists, right? We have teachers, we have parents. No, we have people that are wise, people that are also giving us information, things that are going on. And I've maintained good relationships with people because of who I am. Like all of those people, if I was a piece of shit, do you think they would even fucking have any type of relationship with me? You guys are fucking stupid, man. Let's see, you're absolutely right, Frank. Hey, what's up? I in my own lane. Heading over to Rob's channel, to watch. Okay, is he live? Is he gonna have anybody? All right. They know they can pull a J Cam move on you. That's right. No dice media. The haters will hate without cause. It's in their nature, like the scorpion. Yeah, bro. That's right. Hey, thanks to everybody that's still watching. Thanks so much. No dice media. Saludos. That's right, Mag. Was that even a troll? That's right. What? What, man? Look at these guys. You guys are the ones bringing me up all the time, like tagging me on your shit. I don't tag you on my shit. Like, how will I not know that you're talking about me when you guys tag me on your shit? You even have the trolls clowning you, stupid. But, you don't get it. You don't get it. Yeah, irrational fears, man. Don't be afraid. If you've got nothing to hide, if you've got nothing, to worry about, don't worry about it. It's only, you should not fear what someone might discover, right? What someone might discover about you. If you know you're not doing shit, if you know you're good, if you're all good, don't trip. That's right. But you have to understand when a fear is rational and when a fear is irrational. That is your obligation. You can't go through life just like bumper cars and shit, like, oh shit, and just like hitting everything and not learning from life experiences. If you're going through life like if you're on bumper cars, you got to check yourself. That's right, Mags. I'm riding with you, friend. That's right. So yeah, you know, that's what we do. Now, if you feel threatened by someone that maybe came to work, maybe they're younger, and you're afraid that they might take your job, ask yourself why. Have you been half-assed about what you've been doing? Have you been really doing what you're supposed to be doing? Have you taken that training? Have you accumulated that knowledge that you should have accumulated for that role, to keep that role, to be able to compete, even if they're younger than you? Because look, at my age, If I go back into the job market, I'm going to be competing with kids, like my kids, like 18 and over for some of those jobs. But I know I'm prepared. Look, and this is not to be how can I don't want to sound arrogant because I know I sound arrogant. I know I do. And trust me, I try not to sound arrogant. That's an irrational fear of mine. It's sounding arrogant. That's probably an irrational fear. But I am every time I go to a job interview, I get the job. Every time. Every time that I've gone to a job interview in the past 20 almost 27 years, I've gotten the job. I've applied for positions that I knew were out of my league academically because of the requirements, but I did my homework and I put in like the burning oil to learn and to study about it so that when I went into that interview, I would compete to get the job from people that were academically better suited because of whatever it was that they studied. But I knew more and I sold my ideas better and I would get the job. I can say that with absolute confidence. So I do not have a fear of interviews. Like for me to fear a job interview would be an irrational fear. Now, if you fear job interviews, it may not be irrational, but why do you fear them? Do you not trust who you are? Do you not trust your knowledge? Do you not trust your expertise, your experience? Do you not trust that you're going to be able to sell yourself if asked to say, why should we hire you? Will you be able to sell yourself? These are things you need to ask yourself. Is the fear irrational or is it rational? If it's rational, it may be because you're not informed, you haven't prepared. So yes, that fear is rational. But if you're prepared, if you know what you're going to be asked pretty much, if you know what the job is about and you can sell yourself, you should not have any fear of a job interview. So you could apply this to anything. That message from wherever you didn't really say anything, Does is going to claim a victory over that? No, I don't think so, bro. I think he said a lot. I think he said a lot. What I think is that it doesn't have the drama or the pizzazz that a righteous live interview would have had, which is probably what people expected. I think everybody kind of thought that was what's going to happen, but they explained what happened. I accept their explanation. I think everybody understands what could have happened, but I think that I think that what's important is like what we're talking about is what he didn't say. I think what he said and what he didn't say paints the picture. And for us to know who it was addressed to, I think he said a lot. Living life like Officer V. Yeah, that fool's scared. That fool's scared witless. They're able to sell themselves. Yeah, but that they sell themselves differently, man. That's my take on it. Two times. That's my take on it. I see it that way. I think there is a message in that message. I do think there's a message in that message. But yeah, I don't think that Officer Villa's fears are irrational. I think his fears are too real. I think he doesn't fear enough. That's what I think. I think he doesn't fear enough, or he's being foolhardy. He's tempting the situation. I think he's not doing a good job. I don't think he should do that. He's poking the bear. I like that, Frank. Yeah. I think Officer V is poking the bear, and that's where I think that maybe he should have a more rational fear. Like he should really have a more rational fear of what could happen if people decide to, they're tired of his ass. I don't wish any death, I don't wish anything bad upon him, but people call these things upon themselves. Sometimes you have to have a rational fear. That's why I'm saying you have to know what to fear and what not to fear. They fear the loss of their online presence more than to the fear that they should really have, which is more of like their survival instinct. I think their survival instincts are off. That's what I think. Driving home, that's right, Oakland. Drive safely, por favor, por favor. Safe travels. Bear claw tacos, yeah, bear claw tacos, bear claw tacos. Yeah, so we have to know the difference between rational and irrational fears, guys. Look, I appreciate every single one of you that stopped by. Those of you that donated, thank you so much for your donations. Once again, Mags, thank you so much. Thank you for always supporting me. Ms. Yaya as well. Thank you guys for your support. It's always cool to have you guys. Free taco. Let's see. What is this? La nalgona got all wet when yeah, bro. I guess when you're saying la nalgona, you're talking about ratas. El panzón, el panzón. Yeah, yeah, You got happy. Because that just means it can grift a little longer. Like if Dubs and Gunner stay together, they can grift a little longer. That's what they're trying to do. That's right, Ms. Yaya. All right, guys, I'm gonna call it a night. We're gonna keep it short today. I will continue tomorrow. We will have our Talking Papas tomorrow and the weekend if the Lord permits. Shout out to everybody that supports. If you haven't hit the like, please do so. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Frank Tica's Talking Papas. We're Talking Papas. Frank Tica's dropping knowledge. Talking Papas live. Threatening Thursday. Don't be threatened. Don't be threatened. Don't ever feel threatened. If you feel threatened, it's because you recognize something within you that you need to work on. Something within you that you haven't done, or something within you that you have to take care of before you can move forward. There's no shame sometimes in just, doing enough backtracking to take care of shit that you need to take care of. If there is something pending that you fear will come back and bite you in the ass, you better take care of it. Better take care of it if you're going to come out here, show your face, and put in work on these fools the way we do. That's why I have no fear. Now, you guys can take a picture of me. There's a lot of goofy pictures of me that I've posted. Because I don't care about that shit. I know who I am. And you can hear it. It's pretty fucking clear when it comes through the speakers, bitch. You know who you're dealing with, and that's who you fear. You fear Frank Tica's dropping knowledge, constantly dropping papas on your ass. That's why you see that papa with a chainsaw. Because my papas be humiliating you fools. That's right, Hangman, Popeye, Laters, Alligators. Shout out to everybody that was here, everybody that supports, everybody that's down with ET, Ladies of Exposed Tube, Hangman, Stranger, Taco, Stain, for putting his work out there as well. Sooners, Terp, Katie Frizzle, everybody down with the Exposed Tube movement. We will continue ever forward. Catch you guys later on the live. I'm going to grab some dinner, watch the game, chill. And until next time, I hope you guys can hear it. I'm going to say peace. Peace.